Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday and happy Mindset Monday to be exact. How's everybody doing this morning? It is good to be back. We have taken a few weeks off. It has been a busy beginning of fall. So I would love to have you guys throw your comments in the feed and let me know you're here, who's here, say hey, and I'm happy to see you. So today, I'm sure that possibly the title of today's live, which was a request from the last time I was on, hey Sam, good to see you, is building a retailing culture. And this is something I'm super excited to talk about. It's something that is this request. How do you get your salon to sell so much retail is a super common question that I get because we do sell a lot of retail. We sell a couple $100,000 a year in retail. We would say that between 40 and 50% of our guests purchase retail. Our average ticket per salon is up over $20 retail per client ticket. Most of the time it's upwards towards $24. And so it is a common question that I get is how is it that we sell that much? And hey Sam, good to see you. Glad that you're here today. And you know, I don't know. I think that the title of today's live really should have been how to build a service culture instead of how to build a retailing culture. But I think if I had that title, I don't know that half of you guys would have shown up because that maybe would have sounded a little bit boring. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, I do service my guests, and we do service our customers. If you're a leader or a manager, if you're a stylist, you might be thinking to yourself, I do service my guests, so I don't need to log on and listen to a live on how to service my client. But retailing is a function of service. It's just a symptom of service. And one thing that I think most people would say to me if I looked at their numbers and their numbers might be struggling around their retail, maybe their guest purchasing retail or their retail per client ticket or however you track it, or percentage of guests purchasing, however you're looking, or percentage of retail to service. If that's low, and I challenged you with the question of how is your service, you might say to me, my service is good, or I have great service. I really focus on what the client comes to me for, which is the haircut, the color, or the skincare, or whatever service you're providing. But I would challenge that and say that our clients are there for more. They may just not know how to ask for more. And when you think about your own experience in your life, and you think about the best customer care experiences of your life, they're probably the ones where you got serviced at a level that you received things or a service around an area you didn't even know you wanted or needed, but you're like, wow, this is amazing. And that is what brought your definition or your experience from good to great, or from great to exemplary, or to excellent. And so when we talk about creating an amazing service for the client or how to build a retailing culture, I mean, I would be remiss if I didn't start with a more complicated explanation, and then I'll get into an easier explanation, because there is a straightforward answer to this question. And good morning, Con. It's good to see you. There is a very straightforward answer to this question, which is how to build a retailing culture. But I'm going to start off with the complicated example or the complicated answer, and that is and I've been saying this for years, and you guys are going to roll your eyes if you've been listening to me for years, but building any type of a culture is layered, okay? And it's layered because building a culture isn't single, it's not a single dimension. It's like multi-dimensional. There is a culture around how we greet our clients, how we say goodbye to our clients, how we operate, what the vibe is in the company. I mean, there's so many different avenues. And so I'm going to say that building a retailing culture, I'm going to throw three things out. And this is I'm going to say the more complicated or the more intense version of the answer to this. Core values. Yes, because this is not just a straightforward answer. What are your core values? What do you stand for as a company? And yes, it starts there. Like, how could you, Carrie, just talking about how to build a retailing culture, now you're going to go back to core values? Yeah, I'm going to go back to core values because core values is the exact thing. It's the exact element that is our compass. It is our guiding light. These core values in our mission is what drives us to do what we do, and it drives us to figure out how to do it in the best way. In the how to is where that retailing, I guess, if you want to call it, lives, but I call it service. So I'm going to say core values. So what are your core values? Like in our company, and I can only share this from experience, that our company, our core values, one of them is growth, that we have to be growing year after year. Our second core value is education. And our third core value is relationships, building relationships. So inside the two core values, which is education and relationships, are the systems that we've built so that our clients get that level of care and so that they can leave our salon and feel not only great about what they have, but know how to continue to repeat it time and time again. So I'm going to get to the easy answer, but I am going to start with the cultural answer, which is, who are you as a company? And where has your focus been? Because I work with salons, many of them currently, that they've been in business a really long time, and they're on the struggle bus with regard to, how do I get my team to retail? And if it hasn't been built into your culture and how you do business, then it's changing the culture. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. So A, what are your core values? That's the A, or B, or first. That's first. The second thing is building systems around your core values. So what are the systems or behaviors that define what your core values are? So if our core values, and I'll use us as an example again, are relationships and education, how can we build systems around how we communicate and educate our guests and build deeper relationship with our guests when they come in and sit down in our chair, or when they're in our aesthetics room, or whatever service you're doing on the client? So those behaviors that we institute or build or structure around the guest experience, the result is either going to be that the result is retailing or selling product, if you will, or not. Or the result is that we're pre-booking or we're not pre-booking. So whatever behaviors are built around what your desired end result is what you're going to see. And then the third thing on this train that I'm on right now is tracking your progress. And one of the most important lessons that I learned as a leader is to not coach a number, but to coach a behavior. That was a huge aha moment for me. That was like the mind blown emoji. That was like the mind blown emoji was, what do you mean don't coach a number? I've been coaching my team on numbers for 100 years. I have been talking about retail per client ticket, percentage of clients purchasing. And now you're telling me not to coach my team on their numbers? Yeah, Carrie, I'm telling you to coach your team on the behaviors, because a number doesn't change a number. The only thing that changes a number is a behavior, and changing the behavior. So when we change the behavior, the number automatically changes. I didn't say don't track the number. That's different. Coach a behavior and track a number. Coach a behavior and track a number. We track the number because a number tells a story of what is going on behaviorally in our business. Does that make sense? So throw me some comments and let me know if this is making sense to you. How many people here are still coaching a number? So they sit down with their team and they say, well, your RPCT is $15 or $5, and I need you to get it to $10. And your employee is so used to hearing this, they're like, well, okay. So they walk out of your office or wherever you're sitting and chatting with them, and they're like, I got to get to $10. But no one's talking to them about the behavior change of going from what you're doing now that's getting you 5 and what you need to do to get 20. You could change a behavior and institute something new today and go from a $5 retail per client ticket to a $20 retail per client ticket. Today, right now. But that's layered, right? Because there are things involved. So again, I will just go on to say, I'll do a quick recap. So we're talking today about building a retailing culture. And I have two sides to this coin that I'm talking about. The first side is the cultural side. And what do you stand for as a culture? What do you believe in? What are the behaviors culturally in your business that would give you a retailing culture? If you're not getting that, then we have to look at where would we get that, right? So we talked about core values. We talked about building new behaviors or systems that would give you the end result. And then we talked about tracking. And the biggest thing is to coach the behavior and track the number. The number is a gauge that is going to tell you what the behavior is. So the higher the number, the higher the engagement. The lower the number, the lower the engagement. It's just a gauge. We don't need to get all crazy about our numbers. We just need to be able to break it down and say, God, I see that this number's low. That is telling me low engagement. Why is there low engagement? And we start to get curious and explore why there's low engagement there. So, my coach always coaches the number. So I'm going to take this info to her, says Sam. Well, I think you should, Sam. You should forward this live right over to your coach. And yeah, I feel really strongly about that. I'm very passionate about not coaching a number, but I'm not discounting the number. Track the number, use it for information on the behavior. And then we can coach the behavior. So if you are going to change a behavior, if you're a stylist behind the chair or you're an owner behind the chair and you want to change a number, you're going to want to change the behavior and then go to your number and see if the gauge changed. If the gauge is not changing, and you don't want to maybe look person by person, but look at overall, look at the day, then look at the week, then look at the 2-week period, right? If the number or the gauge is not changing, then you have to alter the behavior a little bit. Then once you alter it and find somebody that's doing it amazing and say, what are they doing that I could incorporate over here to start seeing my gauge tick up? It's the same thing when we're looking at our profit and loss. And when we look at our profit and loss, we don't want the numbers to go up unless it's our profit. We want the expenses to go down. And if our expenses are high, we need to say, what are the behaviors? So we could freak out over the expenses being high, but those numbers are a reflection of the behavior that's going on or not going on in our business. So then we have to go over here and say, what are the budget behaviors that I have that are then giving me these expenses, whether they're too high or they're starting to tick down. So if you can take on more budgeting measures and and having a closer look at what's being ordered and driving the sales up and bringing some of the ordering down, and you start seeing that your expenses go down, that number is a gauge of the new behavior you're taking on. So I just want to give it to you in a context other than just retailing, but retailing seems to be the most common question I get with regard to how to increase sales. So, okay, culturally, again, I want you to think about the first part of this live and what we talked about, because your core values and who you are, who you claim to be, I want to make sure that your behaviors are lined up with those core values. Now, let's get to the straightforward answer of how do I become a retailing machine, I guess. So we could also just, let's go straight to it and maybe cut the culture piece out, although we would not have sustained the numbers that we have for 32 years were it not built into our culture. So I'll give you a quick answer and you can go and take it and maybe make that work for you. But if you're looking at sustainability for your business, you have to look at what is the belief system of your business and why are your team doing or not doing, performing or not performing a level of service that is exemplary, that would encourage the guest to say whatever it is that you use to create not only how this looks, but how it makes me feel, because I'm going to take that. If that's not happening, we need to look at why that's not happening, because what we do know for sure is that all people are leaving your business and they're washing their hair, they're putting conditioner on their hair, they're putting some kind of styling on their hair, finishing on their hair, they're washing their face, they're putting how many things are they putting on their face? I mean, you wouldn't even know it, but I have like 6 skincare items on my face this morning. Yes, and I have makeup on, and I have probably 6 different things in my hair. So if they're not buying that from you, and this is someone with short hair, right? High maintenance, but short hair. If they're not getting that from you, who are they buying it from? I'll never forget when, in my earlier days of ownership, our salon, our original salon, which we're still in the same building, but we used to be in an upstairs location and we've since moved down about 8 years ago, but we were upstairs for a super long time. And where our front desk was right by these windows that looked out over the parking lot. And across the parking lot was a beauty supply. And I remember working the desk one time, and I was checking out one of our favorite guests, and our front desk gal wasn't there, and I had just finished her hair, and I was checking her out. And I made her next appointment, and, you know, super happy to see her when she comes back again. We say bye, lovey-dovey. And I'm doing whatever I'm doing up front. I look outside and I see her walking across the parking lot into the beauty supply. And then she comes out with a bag of product. What? I was just like, oh my God, that was a game changer for me. I thought to myself, wow, if I can't look at that as a lesson and a total slap in my face that I dropped the ball in such a big way. And then I got to thinking, how many people leave our salon and go purchase somewhere else? When you look at it, and I've talked about this a million times, when you go and look at Target, Walmart, department stores, their beauty sections have grown astronomically in the last 10 to 15 years. Why have they? Because the beauty business and beauty care has grown by trillions out in the consumer market, because hairdressers have claimed that I'm not a salesperson. So when you say bye to your client and they are leaving with nothing, without what you've used to create this magnificence, you're saying to them, bye. I hope you find what you need out there at Target, Walmart, online. Because they will. They will find that. Everybody does. Everybody does. So either you provide the service and you provide what that guest is looking for, or they are going to find that without you. Then they're going to come back in and the color might be faded and the hair might feel dry. And you're like, well, what happened? Like, oh, well, I tried these new things. And the only thing you have to say to yourself is, well, I didn't take care of you very well, did I? So how can you change that immediately? And then, so I want to give you a quick fix on how to go from somebody that does not think that retailing is a big part of our business. I want you to change those words with customer care is not a big part of our business. Because in my book, maybe I'm old school, when a client comes in, it's up to me to make sure that they're taken care of, not just from the hairline back, not just for the haircut or color that they booked, but for how it looks when they leave. So, okay, I have 5 steps for you if you want to make a change right now. Okay, step 1. Define the result that you want. What result do you want? So and I want you to be specific. So I know this isn't about the number, but the number is something you have to track as a gauge to see if your behavior, the new behavior is working. Okay. So what's the result you want? Okay. Well, I want $25 retail per client ticket. I'm just going to make it up because the average product probably costs about $25 for one product. So that would be about one product. Okay. So let's say the result I want is $25 retail per client ticket. What is the behavior that I'm going to have to change in order to make that happen? So I'm for sure going to have to talk to every single one of my clients and ask questions, the questions that are needed in order for me to uncover what my client needs. So that's what shampoo are they using, what conditioner, what deep conditioner, what thermal protector, what styling product. All of the questions have to be asked. So the behavior that needs to be changed is I have to get more curious and more thorough in the questions that I'm asking. So you have to then practice that. If this is for you, if it's for your team, you're going to have to teach. We have on our Beauty Backbone website consultations, so you can go on there and there's consultation systems, which are questions to ask. So you can go and pick that up. And so then you can start to come up with your own, but it's like a template. So you will teach, motivate, and incentivize your team on what that new behavior looks like. What are those questions that need to be asked in order to get the result that you want? Then the 4th thing is track. You have to track and celebrate. Celebrate yourself if this is for you. Celebrate your team if it is for your team. So if you see that a change of behavior has happened, that the behavior has changed, and that you're tracking the number and the number has gone up, which is defining that the behavior has changed, celebrate that, call it out, acknowledge it. And the 5th thing is repeat. So this isn't brain surgery, but there's 2 parts to this. Part 1 is culturally, who do you want to be and how sustainable do you want these systems to be? Because it should be a company-wide movement around why we're doing it, which is a deeper level of customer care. So the why is super important, but you can also go and make those changes right here, right now. So how to become a retailing culture. The cultural piece to change the whole company might take a little while, but it should be the next process for you. You're leaving money on the table for the company if you're not doing it, money on the table you're leaving for the stylist if they're not doing it, for bonuses, and you're leaving your client out in the lurch to try to figure out how to do their hair on their own and what they should be using to get the ultimate look for themselves. So it's a triple win when you are building a business around true customer care. and excellence around care and customer service. So I hope that today has helped to motivate you to start looking at how important it is to coach a behavior, not a number, but track the number to determine whether the behavior that got changed is the right behavior. So use both of those tools in order to make changes that you need in your business. And you can use that philosophy, changing the behavior, tracking the number, for anything, whether it's decreasing your expenses, increasing your sales, increasing your pre-book number, increasing your add-on services, your color services, whatever it is. Don't coach a number, coach a behavior. If the behavior is not there and taught yet, then create the behavior that will give you the end result you're looking for. All right? So I hope today inspired you to go do something different. Throw me a comment and let me know what you're going to do once you leave here today and get back into the salon. What new behavior are you going to take on to make a difference in your business? Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you next week. And also, why don't you drop a comment of what you want me to talk about next week? I'm here for it. Have a great week. Mwah. I'll catch you guys on the rebound. Bye.